AI video tools are everywhere right now. New models, new generators, new promises. But there's still one major problem most creators run into. The workflow rarely makes sense. You generate images in one place, animate somewhere else, edit in another tool, then spend hours fixing inconsistencies. It feels less like filmmaking and more like assembling fragments. That's why Cinema Studio 2.0 is interesting, because instead of just generating video, it restructures the entire creation process. Cinema Studio isn't designed like a typical AI generator. It behaves more like a directing environment, which sounds like marketing language until you actually use it. The difference becomes obvious the moment you start a project. You're not asked to make a video. You're asked to build a shot. The workflow starts with something very familiar: a text prompt. But the goal isn't just generating a pretty image. You're establishing what filmmakers would call a hero frame, the visual anchor for motion. Scene, lighting, subject, mood, everything begins here. And unlike many tools where visuals feel detached from motion later, Cinema Studio treats this frame as the foundation of the entire sequence. Before generating anything, you configure the camera system. This is one of the most unusual and powerful aspects of the platform. Instead of vague sliders, you're working with film logic, sensor behavior, lens characteristics, focal length, aperture. Each decision subtly shapes perspective and depth. A wider focal length doesn't just zoom out, it changes spatial relationships. A shallow aperture doesn't just blur the background, it alters emotional focus. This is closer to cinematography than typical AI settings. Once your rig is defined, you generate your base image. But here's where Cinema Studio 2.0 introduces something genuinely different. You can enter the image as a 3D scene, not metaphorically, literally. You move within the environment, explore angles, refine composition. Instead of regenerating prompts repeatedly to fix framing, you adjust perspective spatially. This dramatically reduces guesswork. Another efficient step is grid exploration. Rather than producing one result at a time, you preview multiple variations in structured layouts. This is surprisingly useful for creative decision-making. You're no longer asking, should I regenerate? You're comparing visual directions instantly. Select the strongest frame, promote it to hero frame, proceed to animation. Cleaner workflow, less randomness. Now comes motion, and this is where most AI tools become chaotic. Cinema Studio approaches motion differently. There are no timelines, no keyframe graphs, no animation curves. Instead, you choose deterministic camera behavior. Pan, tilt, dolly, orbit, zoom, handheld, static. You're describing how the camera should move, not manually constructing movement, which is exactly how directors think. Cinema Studio 2.0 adds another major layer here: multi-shot generation. Instead of isolated clips, you can define sequences of connected shots. Up to 6 shots per generation. Each shot can vary in duration, movement, and framing logic. This means you're effectively constructing scenes rather than clips, establishing shots, close-ups, reaction frames, all inside one generation cycle. Characters are where the system becomes even more production-oriented. You can introduce consistent characters directly into your scene, up to 3. But consistency is the critical part. Identity, facial structure, visual presence, maintained automatically across shots, which solves one of the most persistent AI video issues: character drift. Performance direction is also embedded into the workflow. Each character can be assigned emotional states per shot: calm, focused, surprised, tense. Instead of hoping the model interprets intent correctly, you explicitly define it. This transforms prompting from descriptive to directorial. Dialogue integration further simplifies production. Write the line. Cinema Studio handles lip synchronization automatically. no manual timing, no phoneme adjustments, no external software. For creators building narrative content, this removes an enormous technical barrier. Genre-based motion logic is another subtle but important shift. Rather than manually adjusting pacing variables, you select cinematic behavior profiles. Action increases energy and velocity. Horror slows movement and builds tension. Comedy emphasizes timing and reactions. This affects how motion is generated structurally, not just visually. Speed ramp control adds refinement without post-production complexity. You decide motion timing during generation. Slow motion for emphasis. Linear speed for realism. Accelerated motion for intensity. Generate variations. Compare results. Choose the strongest output. One feature that often goes unnoticed is start and end frame precision. If you need a shot to begin tightly framed and resolve into a wider composition, you simply define both states. Cinema Studio calculates the intermediate frames automatically. No keyframes. No manual interpolation. What's interesting about Cinema Studio 2.0 isn't any single capability. It's the coherence of the system. Image generation, spatial exploration, camera logic, motion behavior, characters, shot sequencing, timing control, all operating inside one environment. This changes how creators think about AI video production. Instead of chaining tools together, the workflow resembles an integrated directing pipeline, which dramatically reduces friction. And friction is the hidden cost of most AI workflows. If you want to experiment with Cinema Studio yourself, you can access it directly through Higgsfield. Links are in the description. And if you're new to cinematic prompting or camera logic, the official guide is genuinely useful. AI video is evolving rapidly, but tools that simplify creative control rather than multiply technical steps tend to define long-term workflows. Cinema Studio 2.0 is clearly moving in that direction.